Well, hello there. I don't want to alarm you, but I usually have this table reserved for myself. Oh no, it's not a worry at all. There's not a sign or anything to signify it, because, well, it's usually only the regulars that are allowed up here on the second floor, and they tend to know who stays where. Please, don't be worried. You can stay seated. You seem like an interesting person. What do I mean? You're clearly not one of the regulars. You're new and, well, I'm a very curious man. Do you play cards? I find a good game is a perfect way to get to know someone. I hope you don't mind that I've added a fifth suit. Simply consider it a wild card suit of sorts. Like Joker's, but with set numbers. I find it adds an element of chaos that makes the game more interesting. So tell me, who are you here with? While anyone can enter the bar on the first floor, up here is quite an exclusive club. No one. Surely someone must have given you the password. Thomas doesn't let anyone up here without it. It keeps it so that only the kind of people who are supposed to be here are here. Is this some kind of mafia bar? So you really don't know what this place is. Now that is curious. Don't you feel it, Mage? Surprised I know you're a magic user? Come on, I felt it radiating off you since I walked into the room. I have a certain sense for magic. Look, let me point it out to you. That group of four over there, they're all werewolves. Alphas of different packs. The bald one at the bar is a mage like you. Him and her in the corner, she's a vampire and recently turned him. Understand yet? Ah, now you get it. This is a place for the supernatural. The world in the shadows, I do believe people have started calling it recently. You won't get me to reveal my secrets so quickly, Mage. It's your turn to tell me something. You never answered my question about who gave you the password. How did you end up here without even knowing what here is? A letter in the mail? Now that is strange. Do you know who it was from? It was only signed the Duchess. I should have realized it was her. That is certainly her kind of game. I wonder if she knew I was here or if she had something else in mind. You could say I have a history with her. At the same time, you could say I don't. You shouldn't expect to see or hear from her ever again. I'd recommend looking up that name. In supernatural sources, of course. People never manage to connect the dots without meeting her beforehand, but, well, you'll see if you ever follow my advice. Now, as for our card game, how about instead of gambling money, we gamble information? If I went around, you tell me a bit about you, and if you went around, I'll tell you a little about me. Seems fair, doesn't it? Ready to show your hand? Congratulations on winning the first round, Mage. Yes, I have three of a kind, but you have the sixth card of my wildcard suit, which makes what in a normal game would have been a junk hand into a flush. I told you it makes things more interesting. I figured you'd ask what I am. No, I'm not a mage, and before you continue this line of questioning, I'm not a vampire, werewolf, ghost, or anything else so common. I'm something far more unique. One of a kind, in fact. I'll explain to you while I deal our next hand. The spirits had a name for me, but that word was lost along with them millennia ago. I think the closest word you humans have to describe me is demon. Although that's not strictly accurate. I am part of the inspiration behind the idea of the devil. That look you have in your eyes. Don't worry. I'm not going to ask you to gamble away your soul to me. It's strange that you believe me right off the bat, but I guess you can feel it. My aura has a different feel to it. Mages usually have that reaction. Humans have had a lot of names for me over the years. The Greeks called me Kronos, the Romans called me Saturn. The Egyptians were a lot of fun. They called me Osiris, and they worshipped me. That was a great time. And they were right about my body being cut up into pieces and scattered. Of course, then I was forced to reincarnate into an endless line of human bodies, which is its own host of problems. Human lives are so fleeting. It's a miracle you manage to get anything done at all. There are still people who worship me. There are even a few small mage cults dedicated to my true self. But nothing on the same scale as back then. You would think I was the inspiration behind Loki, but no, that's not what the Norse called me. They turned a very different part of my role in the universe into their legends. But I think I've said enough for one win. You want to exchange a couple cards? Very well. I think I'll hold on to the hand I have. Ready? A pair of kings. Not bad. However, I have the other three. Your turn to answer one of my questions. The mages normally gather in Paris around this time of year. Why are you not there? Ah, the gatherings have been put on hold because of the war. I thought as much. Do you know what they're calling it? The war to end all wars. Of course, if you've lived as long as I have, you learn that's never true. True, they do say it's unlike any war that has come before it. And to a certain degree they're right. The level of mechanization has never been seen before. But they've also said that about wars in the past. Technology and tactics change, but people don't. You don't need to be able to read fate to know that this isn't the last time it will happen. Oh yes, I can read fate. It's a part of the nature of my existence. No, I'm not using it to cheat. And to be honest, I'm kind of offended that you would suggest that. Fate is a force of the universe, but it isn't absolute. It can be pushed against, and with enough force, it can be changed. Something as small as how a deck of cards is shuffled doesn't even matter in Fate's plan. You can bend that without even trying. Larger details, such as a war with casualties numbering in the millions. Fate doesn't like being offset on a larger scale. I can't tell you the fine details of the conflict. Human will is surprisingly powerful at overcoming the fine details of fate. But I can tell you death on a scale only possible in war is ahead, and it won't be the last time either. You think I talk about fate as if it's a person? I don't. I talk about people as if they're fate. If I wasn't trapped in an endless succession of human bodies, people would be beneath my notice. Fate is... I suppose humans would say that fate is my brother, in a way. Of course, it's not exactly that, but it gets the image across. Well, another win for you. 5-4 is a very good hand for you. Now, what do you wish to ask of me? If fate is my brother, then what am I? I suppose I'm a difficult concept to narrow down. Do you recall how earlier I said the Norse took their legends of me from a different aspect of my role in the universe? The Norse called me Surtur. You don't know Norse mythology? Very well, I'll explain. In the legends based on me, Surtur is the god destined to destroy the world during Ragnarok. If my brother is fate, then I suppose I would be... No, not death. I would be chaos. The opposite of fate's finely structured order. No, I'm not a spirit. Spirits are a product of this universe. I am much, much older. And I am destined to destroy this universe, and I have done with other universes in the past. Think of the universe as an infinite cycle. My brother and I fight, one of us wins, subsumes the other, and becomes the universe. The one who loses slowly regains power, destroys everything, and it begins again. For all eternity, infinitely, in both directions. Of course, in the grand scheme of the cosmic game, my brother and I are only pawns, not the players. But I wouldn't even be able to begin explaining that in human terms. And I almost did destroy this universe a few thousand years ago. But alas, I was stopped. Hence my human body's predicament. It wouldn't be so bad if I could fully act on my own will, but unfortunately for me, that's not how the curse works. My soul is intertwined with this body's soul, and as such I am bound to act in accordance with that soul's personality. When the chaos part of my soul is reincarnated, initially it sleeps. It waits. The body's soul develops and grows as any other human soul does. Then, eventually, something makes it click. It's different each time, but the realization occurs. That soul is not alone, and chaos awakens. All the memories of all of my lives come flooding through. And until that body dies, I'm stuck acting as part of that body's soul. Thankfully, my current body doesn't see much of a difference from where one soul ends and the other begins. It gives me more free rein to act in accordance to my own will, to a certain degree. My previous body hated it, tried its hardest to suppress me as much as possible. No, chaos is the only part of me that reincarnates. Its existence is just as fundamental to the universe's fate is. It just happens to have a body, and that body happens to be me. The unpredictability of it makes it difficult to plan long-term or push fate in any meaningful way. That's why I let my little cults exist. They are slowly working towards freeing me, and they will someday. Not soon, but I can wait a very, very long time. How about one more game? This time, we'll play for keeps, shall we? Do you feel the magic radiating off of this amulet? You should do. It's so potent even people with no magical abilities whatsoever can feel it. Emotions have a unique effect on magic. This was created millennia ago, then charged with magic from the pain felt when the spirits were ripped from their physical forms. Honestly speaking, this has more magical energy stored in it than any other physical object in existence. Well, aside from the pieces of my original body. It's taken me a long time to get my hands on it once again, and I can't risk a future, less amicable body of mine losing it. If you win, you can have it. Use its magical energy in any way you see fit. If I win, you and any future apprentices of yours are going to look after it for me until I need it. Deal? Excellent. You don't need to show me your cards. I know how this ends. You can take a look at mine once I've left. In fact, keep the deck as a thank you for playing.